old-fashioned, unadulterated glamour, showbiz, sequins, fabulous dancers with legs up to here and toes that graze the nose, daring feats of magic and illusion, fantastic contortion artists and tantalizing tease artists, and vocals from moi. I'll be your chanteuse. Well, I came home to Perth before the pandemic struck, so I was very fortunate that I could establish myself here as an artist, because although we have had to have some cancellations and adjustments, certainly with capacity and all that kind of thing, I've been very lucky to be based here in WA at a time like this so that I can carry on performing and creating. Of course, our friends in Europe and on the east coast of Australia aren't as fortunate, and it's really wonderful to be a part of something that can bring joy at a time like this as well. You know, it's if we do have that that gift, I think it's important that we use it. We get out and we support the local artists and make the most of our good fortune here. Well, I trained at WAPA, which is one of the best places in the world to train. They give you a real discipline and prepare you for what's to come. And I think that it's fair to say I really paid my dues. You know, I worked my way up and I sought out every opportunity I could. I was lucky that I got to train with some of England's finest actors on the big stages there all around. And I really honed my craft overseas, I guess. But I'm very grateful to be back in Perth and provided with the opportunities such as Cabaret De Paris, because it's beautiful to be in a big theatre and reaching so many people. And although it is a huge, spectacular show, it's also very intimate, and it's a lovely engagement with the audience. Well, I'm very fortunate that I have had the opportunity to perform in the West End in London and also on big UK and international tours. I can tell you that I've seen a lot of theatres around the world, and I suppose I got there through tenacity. Things don't always happen overnight, but if you want something enough, then you work hard and you cope with the setbacks and you find a new way to put yourself forward again and again and again. And finally, you get what you want if you work hard, I think, and I certainly did. But it's really a new thrill for me to be home in Perth, and actually this was one of my ambitions, was to come home to Perth, Australia, and perform in my own hometown. And it's something which means more to me in a lot of ways, to be able to perform for my family and my country folk. Tick. I have been so lucky in my career to perform for all sorts of audiences in all sorts of venues. I love the excitement of Ronnie Scott's, because you know, that jazz is so alive in the moment and you're making it with the band and with the audience, so that's fantastic. I love working to a script where you have to be consistent 8 shows a week and come out to a full packed house such as this one. And that roar you get from a huge crowd of 1,500 to 3,000 audience members. But then I also love the intimacy of performing at, say, the Yacht Club of Monaco, and at the Houses of Parliament, and more recently at Government House. It's all a blessing. All of it comes down to connection for me, and you have connection with a few people on a quiet night in a jazz bar late in Soho, and you have a connection with a huge audience that become one. It's all about connection and authenticity, and I love that. That's my favourite thing. That is so difficult. Every role I've played, whether that character came easily to me or took a lot of time to get to know, they became a part of me. So I don't like to pick a favourite child, but I think the role of Irene Malloy in Hello Dolly was, for me, I loved her because she thought she'd had her time in life and she thought it had passed her by. And suddenly, out of nowhere, came a beautiful second chance at a happy ending. And she was funny, she had great songs, she was elegant, and what a beautiful piece of writing Hello Dolly is. So I'd have to say she was probably the closest to my heart. I remember in the wings on closing night, all of the cast running around saying goodbye to each other, and I just took a moment to quietly say goodbye to Mrs. Malloy. Well, actually, I think every cartoon that I voiced ended up on TV in Australia as well, and all around the world, actually. I was the voice of Violet and Dippy the dinosaur in Captain Flynn and the Pirate Dinosaurs, which aired on Channel 9, ABC, Netflix. I was also in Bottlesnikes and Gumballs, which was an award-winning cartoon, and again, that was global. And another, Prisoner Zero, which was on ABC. So that was terrific, actually, because I had an aspiration to make it on the telly, but my voice has made it. So yeah, it was wonderful because my little nieces and nephews got to watch me, or hear me rather, on television here in Australia, even though I was in England still. So that was nice. Well, I was sitting in the theatre at opening night of, I can't remember the show now, and I happened to be sitting next to a producer of these voiceovers, and he said he was looking for an Australian actress with an English passport, and I said, ta-da! And I didn't get the first audition I went for, but I did get the second, and I think I did voiceover work for about 3 years after that. I didn't even think about it. I answered the call to come home. I wasn't sure why I was getting it, but it felt like it was time. I just wanted to spend some time with my family, I suppose, in my hometown, and I guess I'd done so much in my time that I was happy to take a little break, and the universe said no. No break for you. I do remember being in a vineyard down south and hearing a jazz recording, and I thought, oh gosh, I can't be away from it. So I contacted the Ellington Jazz Club, and within a month I was performing there, and I haven't stopped since, really. Daunting, yeah. I questioned myself so many times throughout that creative process, and I think it's important too, because I took it very seriously, you know. She's incredibly complex but also important to her people, and I did not take that lightly at all. So there were several drafts. I had a friend revise them for me as well, and I approached that subject with a good deal of respect, and in the end I decided as long as my intention was pure, then the audience would receive it well, I hoped, and they did, so I was really grateful for that. The wonderful thing about longevity in a career is you do find yourself wanting new things, perhaps, that weren't always of interest to you when you first started out, and probably wouldn't have come about without that journey you took. But for me, where I'm at now, having written, directed and produced, I feel as though I would like to do more of that, particularly directing, because having had the 20 years I've had all around the world doing what I do, I would love to be able to bring that to a younger generation and contribute to the ever-growing arts community here in Perth, WA. There's an awful lot of talent here, and I've really been enjoying of late working with that younger generation and guiding and encouraging that burgeoning talent. Yes. I might not want to tell you what they are. I'd love to. One of my favourite things about coming home to Perth is discovering the incredible talent we have here. There must be something in the water, really, or maybe it's the training, but there's a lot of brilliant artists and musicians that I just love working with here. And this Fringe season, I am going to be collaborating with a wonderful artist called Adam Hall and a wonderful artist called Jessie Gordon. And I'm really looking forward to sharing those creative ventures with our audiences.